Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 2 of the Season 1 Virtual Racing Championship here on F1 2018 for the PS4. I'm your commentator for the day, Joseph Willows. I would normally join by my co-commentator, Aaron Collingwood, aka KLC73, but unfortunately he has a touch of illness at the moment, so unfortunately he can't be here to do co-commentary with me today. So for today you'll just have me doing commentary. So we are here at the Bahrain International Circuit here in Turkey, and we are all set to get underway. There are a few cars now then coming out onto the racetrack, and should hopefully make for a very exciting session as Blizzard is coming out in the McLaren. Try and see if we can get to the first man who's currently on the track. If we can do, it looks to be a Williams. Let me try and pick it up. It is Francis in the Williams. That's the first out on the track now then, the number 21 Williams. And before we get on with today, apologise for last week's stream. Well, the stream that was really. Sadly, I had internet problems last week, and it meant that the whole stream kind of messed up. So unfortunately, there wasn't a stream. There was only a brief stream for qualifying and a little bit of the beginning of the race. But for those of you who did miss it, of course, the Australian Grand Prix, if you follow us on Twitter, was won by Ollie D in the Mercedes, meaning he took an early lead in the Drivers' Championship, and he'll be looking to try and continue that into this weekend, of course. So, the first of two night races here for this season, of course. Just a few things, of course, to note about the track, of course. So, we're looking at around about a 1 or 2 stop race, but kind of depending on what tyres the drivers will be starting on, of course. Usually, if you're going to be doing a 1 stop, you'd normally go on the soft tyre and then change on to the mediums. If you're doing a 2-stop, you can start on the soft tyres, but you'd obviously change on to the super softs and then either another set of softs or another set of super softs at the end of the race. Super softs, you can do a 1-stop, but you'd have to be on the medium tyres after your first stop, of course. Otherwise, if you go on the soft tyres, then it's definitely a 2-stop race for you. It is a tyre killer around here, of course, due to the fact that the carcass can easily overheat around this track due to the fact that this used to be a camel farm, of course. It is quite a humid track, it to be said. And so hopefully we should be in for an exciting 29 laps of action. We've already got a man setting a lap. It's one of the Force Indias that have started a lap, in fact, because Francis actually let one of them go, and it's actually Poe, the second Force India driver, the number 34 Force India driver. Both Force India drivers part of the TTG group. I'm not sure if that is an esports team, but we are really. So we're right on board with Poe then on a lap. He's on the super soft tyres, killer zone at the moment, surprisingly, along with Button on a set of soft tyres as well. So clearly they're just trying to see where they can go in terms of how far they can, well, what's the word I'm actually looking for, in fact. They're trying to see what their limits are, basically, and I would go on board, in fact, but that obviously messes up, of course, the revs. But coming into now in the first corner of the support pit straight, just coming off the first support pit straight there, then, as you'll now approach the second to last corner. Poe, of course, will be the one setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat. As I mentioned, of course, last week we did have problems which involved my internet. I do apologise for that, but recently, this past Monday, I have actually got some new internet installed, so hopefully we shouldn't have any of the issues we had last week. And so far, it's all going very well at the moment. Welcome to the 6 viewers who've just joined us. Poe now then about to finish off his first final lap, and it's a 1:26.987, which is the benchmark of time. Francis beats him, as does Blizzard, so he goes to the top in the McLaren, as Mercedes goes 4th. Well, now Lambo is in 3rd place. He's beating his teammate, who's currently down in 5th. Here comes Tim Palm in the Red Bull. What can he manage? He goes fastest by a 1/10 of a second, so he beats. So, in fact, no, he goes 2nd. In fact, I do apologise. Blizzard is still at the top of the timing sheet. I thought it said Tim Palm went fastest there, but clearly my eyes were deceiving me there. As Gasly goes 9th, Ballboy goes 8th at this stage. Plexit goes into 5th place. It is P number 7 for Daniel at this stage. As we now look at the Eagle Killer in the Red Bull. Let's see what he's able to do now then on his flying lap, as he's now going to cross the line. Where will the Red Bull driver emerge? And he goes only 5th for the moment, so off the pace of teammate Tim Palm at this stage. As we now look at who's the next guy to do a lap. It will be Cherry 2 Pie. In fact, does he just finish a lap? He has, but only goes into 12th place with that lap. Not a very good first lap for Cherry 2 Pie there. For some reason, the Delta screen isn't updated for some odd reason. As we look at Killer Zone, who's on a lap on a set of the soft tyres, not forget, in the Ferrari. So the Irishman now then just making his way up towards the end of Sector 2 now then. So be on the lookout for people starting potentially outside of the top 10, because you could see them starting on the soft tyres and potentially trying to make a one-stop race just to see if they can try and make it up through the field. So keep an eye out on that if that becomes the case. And in fact, Killerzone has actually backed out of his lap. In fact, he's going back into the pits. I think for some reason, unless their laps got invalidated, the lap times are not really showing up at the moment for a lot of people. Cameron did finish a lap, but for some reason it's not updating on the timing screens at the moment. So I don't know if that's an issue with Codemasters or whether Cameron actually had an invalid lap. We'll probably have to wait and see on his second lap to see what on earth that is about. But there we are. But these guys are coming back this time. But I think somebody is actually just going out on the track. In fact, one of the Haas cars is coming out. That's what I know. So he's coming back in the pit. A few guys coming in. In fact, I thought I saw somebody go out on the track. I could be wrong on that. As Cameron now then is coming back into the pits. As McGrady now, in fact, I think there was somebody else in the Sauber. McGrady has now gone fastest by 0.2 of a second. McGrady to the top of the timing sheets then in the Alfa Romeo Sauber. So the number 96 currently topping at the moment. So we should expect lap times hopefully to break into the 1:25s very soon. We're only just a tenth away from somebody trying to break it, of course. Hopefully we do see it very soon. As Pitmac goes third in the Ferrari. So P3 for him. At this stage of qualifying, so he's doing a good job after struggling last week in Australia, of course, where he was way off the pace in the wet weather conditions, so it didn't really help him out. But McGrady's teammate Eagle is now out on track and starting to settle up at the moment. He's also gone out on the set of the soft tyres, so very interesting what he's planning to do. Clearly wanting to start on the set of the softs if he qualifies in the top 10, of course. Of course, if you start outside the top 10, for anybody who wants a reminder, you do have the option of starting on whichever tyre you want. Otherwise, if you're in the top 10, then you will have to start on the tyres you set your fastest time on. So, just over 10 minutes of the session left in this session, as Eagle there just getting a little bit of heat into the tyres before he starts his first flying lap, as my internet connection quality is not sufficient to broadcast the gameplay. We'll continue at the moment because there's no lag at the moment on my screen. But anyway, Eagle now then just starting his lap as he just flicks on the DRS, as he will now head down towards turn 1 on the racetrack now then, flicking off the DRS as he's just having to avoid there a Williams who had to slow down just to let him go there, and then one of the yellow flags came out a little bit earlier, as now heading up towards turn number 4 on the track. Now we've got a very good revved engine, in fact not the one we had earlier from the Toro Rosso. A lock up there then from Eagle on the soft tyres, getting a little bit of wheel spin coming off the turn. We will now approach the hairpin now then, very easy to lock at the front, and compromises the exit a little bit, and he's been compromised by Cameron there in the Toro Rosso. I don't know if Cameron was aware that Eagle was behind him, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gets called into the stewards by any chance. I wonder if Eagle will want that having a look at, but that has definitely compromised his first flying lap. He's also sustained some front wing damage in the process, so I'm guessing Eagle will be fuming with Cameron as a result of that. As we now look at Blizzard now then in the McLaren, who is on his second flying lap, currently in second, coincidentally as well, as I just said that, pardon the pun. But anyway, into the first sector, he does a 27.5 on the set of Super Soft. What that is compared to McGrady, I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't really give us an indication on the delta on the left, or even at the top where his lap time is currently showing. Now into the double left-hander, he locks up the front left, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 3, so somebody's obviously been for a trip into the gravel. As now down the support pit straight, a lot of wheel spin there from one of the Force Indias. Not quite sure which Force India that was that just suffered the wheel spin coming out of the double left-hander, as now sector 1 and sector 2 have now been shown as having a yellow flag, so it must be between those two sectors. Into the second to last corner then, as Blizzard is about to finish off his second flying lap of the day, as just over 8 minutes of the session remaining. Let's see what the McLaren driver can do as he goes down to third into the final corner, shifting up straight away up to the fourth gear. Down the straight he goes, and what is Blizzard going to be able to do? Can he top McGrady? Yes, he can. Blizzard goes to the top and is the first man to break into the 1:25s. A very huge margin, in fact, a 1:25.6 from Blizzard. A really good time from him there indeed, as Poe now then goes up to third in the force. So up to third place goes Poe, As now we look at Tim Palm locking up on the front right into the final corner, as he's now down to 6th now, because Killer Zone has now gone up into 2nd in the Ferrari, so P2 for the Irishman. Tim Palm, aka Chicken, has gone up into 4th place, a good time from him there, as Pit Matt at the moment still waiting in the garage, possibly just waiting for a clearing on the track. Here's Lightning Gasly, who's currently 7th. I don't know if he is on a flying lap or whether he's just backed off. Not 100% sure, but he is up in 7th place. So we're just over 7 minutes to go. This is what the leaderboard looks like. Blizzard fastest, with Killer Zone 2nd, McGrady 3rd, Tim Palm 4th, Poe in 5th, with Pit Matt in 6th. Then it is Gasly 7th, Mercedes 8th, Francis 9th, Lambo 10th, Button in 11th, with Deagle Killer in 12th, Cherry 2 Pie 13th, Flexit 14th, Damn Daniel in 15th, Boy 16th, Ollie D down in 17th, yet to set a competitive time, and Eagle, the only man yet to set the time as a result of collecting Cameron at the back a little bit earlier on, losing him half his front wing. So clearly that run on the soft tyre is not working out. He's just gone back out. In fact, you can just see, judging from the tyre indication on the left, he's just gone back out on a set of super softs this time. So he's obviously ditched the soft effort and has actually had to go on the super softs as a result of being held up with Cameron again. Wouldn't be surprised if the stewards got called for that one. As into the final corner then goes Lightning Gasly. Is he on a flying lap or is he going back into the pit? He is going back into the pit lane this time by. As we look at Mercedes and the Toro Rosso going very ragged there into the 3rd to last corner, taking a little bit of the gravel on the outside, so clearly pushing hard to try and improve on 8th place. Let's see what the Honda-powered Toro Rosso can do. Into the final corner we go, as he will now go down the pit straight. Can he get himself a little bit higher than 8th place at the moment? Across the line he goes. In fact, he actually goes into the pit, so he's actually aborted that lap, possibly because of how wide he went into the 3rd to last corner. And I want to see what Ollie D is doing at the moment. In fact, he's gone back into the pits. He's definitely struggling at the moment. Down in 17th, the man who won at Australia last week, definitely not up to pace at the moment, as McGrady stays in 3rd with that lap. Unless this is his first flying lap, I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't really give you that much of an indication apart from the left-hand side, but sometimes that can glitch out a little bit. As the Haas just about gets out of the way there, McGrady, so that does indicate he is on a flying lap, because otherwise I'm sure the Haas driver wouldn't have allowed him through if that were the case. He gets a big slide coming out of turn number 5 there, you just saw. I think it's turn 5, sorry, turn 4, into the hairpin. No lock-up on the front right, so keeping it nice and tidy through into there, letting the car drift out a little bit out of the turn into double left-hander as a lock-up on the front left. We're expecting that to be a key thing in this race, that's for sure. As now he flicks on the DRS, heading into turn into the first corner of the support pit straight, I should say, rather than trying to remember what the corner turn is. As a little bit of rocking there from the Sauber. I don't know if he just caught a glimpse of that there, but it looked like his car was sort of bouncing about. Maybe he just ran a little bit wide there into that right-hander. Into the 2nd to last corner, a wiggle coming out of there, but McGrady definitely pushing hard to try and get back to pole position in the Sauber. Up to the final corner we go. Is McGrady going to improve? Let's see now then. Out of the final corner, using a lot of curb on the outside, just about kept it on the track, and he's actually aborted that lap. So I don't know if Dan Daniel had a part to play in that, but he's also aborted his lap. So a lot of laps being aborted at this stage with just over 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session, as Francis is going into 12th and a big wiggle coming out of there. So obviously that lap has now been compromised by the Scotsman. We look at Button, who is he about to finish a lap or just about to start one? He locks up on the front right into the final turn there. And Button is on an outlap back, because that's not a proper flying lap, it should be said. In fact, I'd just say a 1:26 there, 0.5. He's still 16th at the moment. As Deagle Killer has actually got, Ollie D has actually gone up a few places, but only up into 11th place at the moment. And is that actually him coming out the pit lane? Yes, it is. It is his name above on the garage there. So Ollie D, the championship leader, having to wait, in fact, for the Sauber to come by. So kind of a weird one there from Co-Message. Normally you'd think the Sauber would actually wait for the Mercedes to go by, but clearly not. That's a bit of an awkward one there. I'm not sure why Ollie D's AI, I should say, that controls him in the pit, slows him down. Through turn 2 and 3 we go, as he looks to try and improve on his lap. And currently down in 11th and looking to try and challenge Blizzard for pole position if he can. We look at Tim Palm, who's on an out lap, and people who are currently on laps. We'll have a look at Button and see if he's on a flying lap or whether he's coming back into the pits this time by. He's currently in 16th place, the Haas driver now then in the number 71 Haas, I should say. Into the 2nd to last corner he goes. running a bit wide there on the out of the second to last turn, as he'll now approach the final corner, as we have just under 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session to determine the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. A little bit of rocking from the Haas car. He is about to finish the lap, and Button improved on 16th place, and he can up into 3rd place. A big improvement there, as Poe has actually left the session. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin as he's currently in 7th in this qualifying session, because that'd be a real damn shame if he wasn't able to get back into the lobby in time. As Killer Zone on his out lap there. Thought for a minute he was on a flying lap, but he wasn't, because otherwise I would have said he would have been held up on his lap. As McGrady trying to get around quickly to do his next flying lap. We now look at Tim Palm, who is on a lap. He's going around the hairpin, got a lock up on the front right tyre there, and now he will approach the double left-hander on the racetrack. And let's see if Tim Palm can try and challenge that 1 minute 25.6 that was set by Blizzard a little earlier. Button has called it a day. He thinks that 3rd is the best that he can do. Flicking on the DRS for Tim Palm now then into the first corner of the support pit straight now then, trying to make sure he doesn't lose the back end, and that's not what he needed. He goes onto the dirt, and that's his lap effectively ruined. Is he going to back off and try and do another lap, or was he going to give up? It looked like he did back off that time by, eased off the acceleration, but that's definitely his lap wrecked. He's definitely slowing down and waiting to do another lap. He's got 1 minute 20, so he's got plenty of time in which to do so at the moment. As we look at Plexit now then, who is 15th on a lap now then in the Mercedes, just going around turn 1. Here's Cherry 2 Pie in the Toro Rosso, just getting some heat into the tyres before he starts his final flying lap, with just under a minute to go now in the session, and Tim Palm has actually called it a day. So disappointing for him to be in 6th, and that's again Cameron getting in the walls there during qualifying, and again blocking somebody else, this time the Williams of Ballboy, and Ballboy is not going to be happy about that one, that's for sure. And well, I wouldn't be surprised if he's very angry with Cameron with that one. As we now look at Killer Zone, Ballboy is actually retired, and I bet he's fuming. That's twice now we've seen Cameron actually impeding somebody's laps, and well, might have a hefty trip to the stewards after this one. As I've mentioned, that's twice now he's held up somebody while they're on a flying lap. As we look at Killer Zone, he's probably going to be the only person that could possibly try and challenge Blizzard, unless Ollie D is on a good lap, but I think he's out there on the softs, if I'm right in saying so, and he's all the way down in 12th, so he looks like he might have a lot to do in the race tomorrow. 6 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Checkered flag is out, and that is the end of the session. 3 minutes left for the guys to finish off their current flying laps, and then that will be qualifying over. We'll look at Killer Zone then on his final flying lap. The Irishman looking to try and beat Blizzard off the pole now then. Into the second to last corner he goes. Mercedes calls it a day. 9th is the best the Toro Rosso can do. As we keep on looking at the Irishman, who comes down towards the final corner. Can he try and snatch pole position off Blizzard now then? Into the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go. Will Killer Zone try and beat Blizzard to pole position? The Irishman now then in the Ferrari crosses the line, and no, he can't. He improves, but only by a 10th. Blizzard just keeps pole position for the moment. Anybody else behind able to challenge? McGrady stays in 4th on his flying final lap. Dam Daniel has given up. He's going to remain in 5th. As a result, the Eagle Killer is on a lap as Blizzard improves on his pole time to a 1 minute 25.569. So not much of an improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. Lambo gets improved. He can onto the front row. The Eagle Killer goes up into 2nd place. A big improvement, pushes Killer Zone down to 3rd in the Ferrari, and a good final flying lap there for the Eagle Killer. Pit Matt can only manage 11th with that lap. Ollie D 13th, and make that 14th now, because Eagle has gone up to 8th in the Sauber, so up into 8th place he goes, and 15th now for Ollie D. So a disappointing qualifying session for him. For last week's winner, Ollie D only managing 15th on the grid. So disappointment for him. He's got a lot of work to do tomorrow. He is on the soft tyres. He looks like he set his fastest time on the stop, so maybe look out for him possibly doing a one stop in this race. And well, once everybody's got the tip, we'll go through the grid positions then for today's race. And here we are then. So it's Blizzard on pole with the Eagle Killer 2nd, Killer Zone 3rd, Button 4th, McGrady 5th, Dam Daniel in 6th with Tim Palm 7th, Eagle 8th, 4 Germans following each other in qualifying. Then it's Francis 9th, Poe in 10th, Lambo in 11th, with Mercedes 12th, Pitmat 13th, Gazzy 14th, Ollie D with a lot to do in 15th, Plexit in 16th, both Mercedes on row 8, Cherry 2 Pie in 17th, and Ballboy very angry in 18th after Cameron held him up on his final flying lap. He could have been on for a better lap, but who really knows, really? So that is the grid then. 18 cars on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Only 2 were not able to make it for today, but still a healthy grid nonetheless. So leave your predictions in the chat, who you think is going to win the race. I think it's going to be a very exciting 29 laps, I believe it is, around Bahrain. And my money, I think I'll have to put it on Deagle Killer. I think Deagle Killer will have the edge today, and I think he can go and challenge for the victory. So, but look out for Ollie D as well at the back. He looks like he will be starting on the softs, so he looks like he could be trying to do the one stop in this race. So we'll wait and see on that. Pit stops, the first round of pit stops, maybe look at around lap number maybe 7 to 12, maybe we could see them. So because people like to try and do something different, try and stretch out the tyres for as long as possible during the race, even if this track is a tyre killer, of course. As we wait for everybody now then to get onto the grid as we get set for 29 laps of the Bahrain Grand Prix here in Turkey. Of course, we do have a formation lap as well, so be aware of that. So we will have a formation lap before the race actually gets underway. And here we go then. So the formation lap is underway now then, as Blizzard leads the field off the grid. And at this point, it's about trying to get heat into the tyres as best as possible. I'm predicting this man to win, of course. Keep an eye on Killer Zone, though. He's looked very strong in qualifying as well. Clearly, this track suiting to his driving style. And he'll be looking to try and challenge for the victory. For him, he could spring a surprise here and there. McGrady was on pole for a majority of the qualifying session, but only managing 5th in the end. He could be another man to look out for in today's race. Tim Palm down in 7th, but don't rule him out yet either. And of course, don't rule out the man who's down in 15th, Ollie D. And as predicted, you can see there, look, he is starting on the yellow wall soft tyres. So pretty much as predicted, really. As we now look at everybody coming around the field there. We'll be getting underway with this race. Everybody just trying to get some heat into the tyres so that they don't end up with cold tyres at the start of the race. So just a reminder of the grid then for anybody who's just joined us. It's Blizzard on pole with Eagle Killer in 2nd, Killer Zone 3rd, Button in 4th with McGrady in 5th, Dam Daniel in 6th. Then it is Tim Palm in 7th, followed by Eagle 8th, Francis 9th, Poe in 10th, followed by teammate Lambo in 11th, Mercedes 12th, Pitmat 13th, Gasly 14th, Ollie D down in 15th, one to look out for today. Then it is Plexit in 16th, Cherry 2 Pie 17th, and Ballboy in 18th position. So the cars coming down this back straight now then before heading towards the final corner. Pretty much a very big traffic jam, you must have to say, on his formation lap. And Killer Zone losing it a little bit there on the formation lap. Clearly Deagle Killer ghosting there then, but he should be able to get back into 2nd place as well, Blizzard and Killer Zone, it seems, got themselves disqualified on the formation lap and have now been just been punted all the way back to the grid. So I wouldn't be surprised if any of those two get told off for the actions during the formation lap. I'm pretty sure that Oliver Glaze will be watching this on to see what is going on. So Deagle Killer then. Blizzard, here we go then, 5 lights are on and we are underway here at the Bahrain International Circuit now. Then, as you can see, Blizzard having to cover off Deagle Killer, who's looking to the inside into turn number 1. Heading into the first corner now. Then Blizzard on the inside. Deagle Killer trying to hang it around the outside of Blizzard into the first corner. Can everybody get through okay? As Blizzard just able to hang on for the moment and hold on to the race lead. As Deagle Killer still fighting with him now. Then up towards turn number 4 on the track. McGrady and Killer Zone side by side. McGrady's got a good start from 5th place, trying to hang it around the outside of Killer Zone. Has he got 3rd place from the Irishman? I think he has. And yes, up into 3rd place goes McGrady. No, in fact, Killer Zone all the way around the outside as he holds on to 3rd place. And look at Tim Palm now. They're trying to get himself into the thick of it as Deagle Killer has got the lead from Blizzard. So Deagle Killer, who I predicted the man to win here today, has taken the lead from Blizzard at the start of the race now. Then a good start from him indeed, as Killer Zone now then has broke away a bit from McGrady, who's having to fend off from Tim Palm in the Red Bull and also Button in the Haas, as it could be quite interesting what's going on down there. We run on board with Button. It's the first corner of the support straight now then, as he tries to look for a way through. Obviously dirty air, a big thing with these cars, of course, because the amount of aerodynamic features. His car's having a spinner. That's Killer Zone. Killer Zone has gone for a spin. down at the third to last corner, and he's lost half his front wing. And after a brilliant qualifying session, Killerzone has spun off, and well, he's going to have to make a trip to the pits for that one, as Button now gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for exceeding track limits. So the man who was challenging Tim Palm for 4th has now got to serve a 5-second time penalty during his pit stop. So, well, a disaster is now Blizzard. He's coming back at Deal Killer. Well, the lead is Tim Palm on the inside of McGrady into the first corner. Deal Killer just able to hang on for the moment on Blizzard as Killerzone comes back into the pits. Damn Daniels also in. He must have got some damage as well in the car. As now Blizzard's on the inside of Deagle Killer up towards turn 4. Has he got the lead back of Deagle Killer? He's on the inside now of him, and he has grabbed the lead, or has he? Deagle Killer just has the traction on the outside, as he just able to stay in front of Deagle Killer, having to work very hard, and he holds on to the place as McGrady has just been able to hold off Tim Palm for the moment for 3rd, but it's allowed now Francis to go for a dive down the inside of Button into the hairpin now. Then can he get the move done? And no, not quite. Button just able to hold on at this stage of the race. Meanwhile, Ollie D is up into 10th place at the moment, so he's already up into the top 10, trying to make his strategy work out to perfection, as he's now on the back of Lambo for 9th position, as Dam Daniel and Killerzone have finished their impromptu pit stops, but they've got a lot of work to do if they want to get some points here today. But there's still a lot of laps to go in this race. Anything can happen in Grand Prix racing. It usually does. The top 2 have broke clear from the rest of the pack, as the pair of them are around 2.2 seconds clear of McGrady, who's holding up a train of cars behind him. We now look at Tim Palm, we ride on board with the Red Bull now, then trying to get hold of the Sauber. Into the final corner we go, and not close enough to try and put a dive on him there, then into the final turn. But can he try and get him on the pitch straight as Blizzard will look to try and get Deagle Killer again for the lead, but he looks a little bit too far back as Deagle Killer sets the fastest lap of 1 minute 30.759. DRS now enabled as Tim Palm now down the inside of McGrady into turn 1. Surely he's got the place this time, and yes, he has. Cleanly done, and up to 3rd place goes Tim Palm in the Red Bull, as now Button will try and follow through as well. He's on the inside into turn 4. Can Button get the move done on McGrady now? Then the Haas versus Sauber into turn 4, as McGrady just about shuts the door to hold on to the place, but Button will try and keep alongside of him, which he isn't able to do so he holds back for the moment. Francis has dropped back a bit from this scrap now then, as Ollie D still struggling to find a way through from Lambo at this stage of the race, as we've got some interesting scraps at the moment. There's now Button and McGrady again going side by side at the exit of the hairpin into the double left-hander, and McGrady just has the edge as he outbid himself there. No, I don't think he's outdid himself there, as now Button will try again down this straight to try and get him possibly into the first corner of the Sport Pit Straight. Both have DRS, so McGrady can counteract Button's attack via the DRS from Tim Palm in front, but Tim Palm starting to get his foot down and trying to chase the top 2 in front of teammate Deagle Killer and the McLaren of Blizzard. As now look at the train that's starting to fall behind McGrady. It's getting more cars starting to fall behind at this stage, as now we head down the straight. Will Button try and move into the final corner, as Blizzard is now on the back of Deagle Killer again for the lead. Will he try and move into turn 1 yet again on the Red Bull now then, as Blizzard sets the fastest lap? He's right in the slipstream. He's got the DRS on Deagle Killer. Deagle Killer having to go very defensive into turn 1 there then. Will Blizzard try and outbreak him into the first corner, trying to hang it around the outside of the Red Bull, keeping it on the inside into turn 2, and that is a lovely pass from the McLaren. Blizzard back into the lead of the race, as Button has taken 4th from McGrady into turn 1 as well. Up into 4th place goes Button in the Haas, as he's managed to make the move stick finally on McGrady in the Saubers, who ride on board with Francis. He's trying to find a way through. He's going to dive it down the inside into turn number 4, and that is a beautiful pass from Francis, the Scotsman, up into 5th place. Fantastic move from him. Damn Daniel now with the fastest lap on the soft tyres with a 1 minute 30.211 as he tries to catch up to the rest of the pack. Same with Killerzone and the Ferrari as well, as they now make their way out of the hairpin now then for the 4th time today, as Francis will try and attack Button for 4th place and then try and get onto the back of Tim Palm for podium if he can. A brilliant dive bomb from Francis. Tried to do it earlier on Button, I think it was, but wasn't able to make the move stick and had to hang back for the moment. And once he took advantage, once Button got past on McGrady, he took full advantage and went for the dive into turn 4. Beautiful executed pass and very calculated as well, as Deagle Killer had to really jam on the brakes there to avoid cream crackering into the back of Blizzard's McLaren. As now they go down the straight. Tim Palm now 2.7 seconds behind this scrap, so he's definitely gaining while these two are scrapping it out for the lead. Out of the final turn we go, and now will Tim Palm get him? He should have DRS, of course. Down the main straight we go. Will Deagle Killer get Blizzard for the lead again into turn 1? And he doesn't appear to be close enough. Blizzard will go defensive either way. Deagle Killer looks to the outside. isn't able to pull it off. Meantime, in the background, look, Francis on the inside of Button, so close to contact, wheel-to-wheel stuff. Francis on the inside, can he get the traction? A little bit of wheel banging, and he loses out on the traction. Button holds on, so Francis losing time, and McGrady will try and get hold of him. Well, I say that, of course, unseen by the cameras. Poe has actually got him for 6th place. Look at Ollie D, there's 3 wide in the background, look, and Ollie D has taken both Eagle and Lambo into turn 4 and has grabbed 8th place with ease. In fact, 7th, I should say. Has there been a crash, actually, because we've got a yellow flag down at the right-hander, and it's Button. Button in the Haas has made a mistake. Has he got any damage? It doesn't look like it, but a podium might have gone down the toilet for the Haas, and he finds himself down the field as Poe is up into 4th place now. McGrady has got back ahead of Francis, so I wonder if there was contact between Button and Francis. I wonder if the stewards may want to have a look at that, if any of those two have onboard footage of that, that's for sure. But meantime, back to the battle for the lead. Tim Palm is now starting to fall back again from these two, as the Eagle Killer still putting Blizzard under enormous pressure in the early stages of the race, as they now go down the straight, heading in towards the final corner on the racetrack. Eagle Killer in the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside of Blizzard. Can he pull the move off? No. Going to hang back. Going to wait for the DRS to try and pull a pass again. Heading down the straight go as Button now gets a 3-second time penalty. So now that's just adding to the woes he's just had at the moment. Look at the slipstream that Eagle Killer has. Blizzard again going defensive into turn 1. Eagle Killer on the outside. Will he try and outbrake him just like Blizzard did to him earlier? Tried to hang it around the outside. He thought he had the inside, but Blizzard just able to hold on to the place. But can Eagle Killer possibly get a run into turn 4? Look how defensive Blizzard went. And, well, Eagle Killer's going to try and dive it down the inside to turn 4. There's just enough of a gap on the inside. He's going to try and go side by side with him into the X's. Isn't quite able to work it out, and he holds on to the place for the moment. Will Eagle Killer possibly try and dive it down the inside into the hairpin? No, he doesn't think about it, but he's going to try and hang it around the outside into the hairpin, and he's going to try and hang it, but he got wheel spin, and Blizzard's still able to hold on. Brilliant piece of driving from the top 2 at the moment, who are continuing to scrap it out for the lead of the race, but it's allowed Tim Pump to close up to now to just within 2 seconds of these guys now then, as McGrady, as Ollie D's up to 6th, he's got in front of Francis, so the man who won last week at Australia is up into P6, as he'll now try and chase the battling Poe and McGrady in front, as Ollie D is on a flyer at the moment. As like I said, don't rule him out for a potential victory. He's showing some brilliant pace after only qualifying 15th for qualifying, of course, and he's made a great comeback, as now Francis has got a time penalty, a 3-second time penalty as well, so he joins Button on that list. Eagle Killer again trying to dive it down the inside into the final corner, wasn't able to make the move stick, heading into the pit straight now then. Will Eagle Killer get the move done this time by? Again, we'll have the DRS. Blizzard will have to go defensive for a 3rd time from Eagle Killer. He goes defensive now then. Eagle Killer on the outside. Can he pull the move off around the outside? Contact being made between the pair of them, and Blizzard's still able to hold on for the moment, as Eagle Killer getting a little bit of wheel spin coming out of turn 2 up towards turn 3 we go, as Matt has gained it. Pit Matt in the background is getting a place back. He's fighting with Francis now, then Pit Matt into the top 10, got up to 9th at the expense of Mercedes. Now trying to take another place, he's on the inside of Francis. He's now the only Ferrari left to get points. A little bit of wheel banging, but that's P8 for Pit Matt. A brilliant pass from him. Coming to 8th place goes the Ferrari drivers. They're now trying to attack Lambo in front. Look at this now. Ollie D on the back of the battling McGrady and Poe in front. So he'll be looking to try and get those guys as well. And look at this, in fact, 3rd to 6th, we're starting to gain onto the top 2. So we could even have a monstrous 6-way scrap for the lead if this keeps on going with these two battling it out. Eagle Killer, as we ride on board with him now then, with the DRS, heading into the first corner spot pit straight. Wasn't close enough to get the move on Blizzard that time by. And I think we'll be pretty soon getting close to the first round of pit stops for anybody who's doing the 2-stop in this race. I think Ollie D, because he's starting on the soft, I think looking like he could be going on to the 1-stop in this race, but we could wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what everybody's strategy is. Look at the slitching Eagle Killer's got again on Blizzard into the final corner. He doesn't think about diving it again, waiting for the DRS to try and pounce on Blizzard. He's got a great run coming out of the final corner. This is probably the closest he's been to Blizzard all race now. Then Blizzard straight away having to go defensive. The Eagle Killer with the DRS, side by side they go. Has the Eagle Killer got the lead? And yes, he has to defend the inside in case Blizzard tries to dive it, but back into the lead of the race goes the Eagle Killer, as down the inside goes Ollie D on McGrady, and that's P4 for the Mercedes. Up into 4th place goes championship leader Ollie D as he gets the move done on McGrady Sauber. As meantime, Blizzard back on the inside of the Eagle Killer isn't done yet. Into turn 4, side by side they go. A little bit of wheel banging as they go side by side into the S's. Side by side they continue going. They're still side by side for the S's. The Eagle Killer just has the edge there. Blizzard having to go to the outside. And, well, the Eagle Killer just able to hang on as now Poe is now 1.9 seconds behind that battle. And he's even got now Ollie D to worry about. Button setting the fastest lap of 1 minute 29.919 at this stage now. Then Lambo now coming up to the back of McGrady Sauber as it looked like McGrady got a little bit unsettled into the double left-hander there. And now putting him under attack from Lambo in the Force India as into left-hander we will go on the track. Well, I should say the Racing Point Force India as it's now because it's not got the Sahara logo on the car. So it's now the Racing Point Force India. As well, as you can see there, McGrady going, looked like he had a little bit of a twitch of oversteer and looked like Lambo had to jam on the brakes to avoid crackering into the back of him. Now look how close Ollie D is to the back of Poe as it doesn't look like the Blizzard will be close enough to try and push a pass on Blizzard into the first corner unless he goes for a monumentous dive now. Then it looks like we're getting some pit stops on the way as Poe comes in, as does Blizzard. So Blizzard and Poe looking to try and take advantage. Blizzard looking to try and leapfrog the Eagle Killer in the pits as the McLaren and Force India mechanics are out. McGrady for Sauber is in. Gasly for Renault is also in. So 4 guys into the pits this time as out goes Killer Zone. Killer Zone is out of the race. Did he just voluntarily retire? No, he's crashed. He just saw his car there. He just saw his car on the exit of the third to last corner there. It looks like he's had another crash at that corner. So Killer Zone, after what could have been for him, is out of the race. We've got a 5th man in the pits. Cameron Toro Rosso is into the pits. Jerry T by him to wait for the broadcast to go by as everybody's now finished the pit stop. Poe comes out in 10th position as McGrady comes out right into the path of his teammate Eagle. And, well, he joins right behind him on the track. Daniel in 11th position, looking to get back up through the field after what happened to him on the first lap. Jerry Tupai rejoins in 17th behind Button. Gasly rejoining in 15th after his pit stop. As Ollie D now then is up into 2nd place, looking to try and see if he can get the jump on Poe in the pits once he makes his pit stop. And so as Blizzard came out in 8th after his pit stop, for anybody wondering. Tim Palm down in 9th place at the moment in the Red Bull, so he's obviously dropped back a bit. As now we look at the Eagle Killer. Will he be responding to Blizzard's pit stop and coming in the end of this lap? Will Ollie D do the same for Poe into the final corner? In fact, Ollie D's on the soft, so he can actually stay out a little bit longer. So I don't expect Ollie D to pit, but I do expect this man to come into the pits now then. Eagle Killer comes into the pit. Who's getting the stop? Ollie D takes over the lead on his soft tyres. He's obviously going quite long and looking to try and make his strategy work out as the Red Bull mechanics get ready. And he's going on to a set of medium tyres. So it's a 1-stop then for Eagle Killer, going very long on this stint. And, well, that's that really. Blizzard is also on a set of medium, so it looks like everybody going for a similar amount. It's going to be close between Blizzard and the Eagle Killer. The Eagle Killer gets off the pit limiter, and Blizzard has got the jump on him in the pits. Blizzard up back into the lead of the race, and Tim Palm has also made a pit stop as well, and he's also got the jump on his teammate, so he'll be up into 2nd place. So the Eagle Killer not only has lost 1 place, but he's lost 2 places now, 1 to Blizzard and 1 to teammate Tim Palm. So a disaster for the Eagle Killer as far as he's concerned, but they may also have to worry about Ollie D, who obviously, let's not forget, started on the soft tyres, so he's going quite long in this stint. He can afford to go very quick on his 1-stop, of course, and go on to a set of super softs, so he'll be very quick on the last stint, of course, as we now look at this battle for 4th place between Plexit and Mercedes, as now through the first corner of the support pit straight we go. And Mercedes looking to try and get the DRS, and he's obviously going quite long as well because he's on a set of the soft tyres, as is Plexit, I think. So both Mercedes on the same strategy, it must be said, both of them going quite long. Pitmat also in front going quite long on the softs. Is Lambo also doing the same? Yes, the top 5 all on soft tyres at the moment. And Blizzard trying to chase them down to ensure he can try and make his strategy work out. As a big wiggle of oversteer there from Mercedes, going to cost him a bit of time trying to pass Plexit down the straight, but he's still got the DRS. Can he still try and pull the move up on the Mercedes? Plexit goes defensive now then, as now Mercedes looks to the outside, isn't able to pull it off, and has to stay behind him for the time being. Plexit, though, has compromised his entrance into turn 2. I did think for a minute, did he go deep? As now Mercedes is on the inside into turn 4. Can he get the move done? Down the inside he goes, and yes, he has. Up into 4th place goes Mercedes in the Toro Rosso, getting past Plexit. and that's P4 for him then as far as he's concerned. Meantime, Tim Palm trying to close up to the back of Blizzard. He's 1.1 seconds behind him, so he's got a little bit to try and gain onto him at this stage. As Poe losing time to the Eagle Killer. He's also got Damn Daniel behind for company. I'm not sure. Obviously, I think he'll need to make another stop, of course, because he obviously lost a part of his front wing in the pit stop. So obviously, been a disaster for him at the back of the field. Button is fighting with Gasly, who's on a set of the medium tyres. As out goes Jerry Tupai, in fact. It's just come up on the screen. Jerry Tupai is now out of the race. We're down to 2 runners, so clearly Cameron has either called it a day or he's crashed out. So 2 retirements now then here at Bahrain. Here is the current race leader, Ollie D. And obviously, we'll have to wait and see when he'll make a pit stop. Will he be... I don't expect him to pit this lap, and he's not going to. So obviously, no surprise staying out there. Meantime, Plexit has not given up on Mercedes, but I think he's a little bit too far back to challenge him down this straight. But we'll have a go anyway. Obviously, the DRS is longer down this straight than what it was last season, of course. Hopefully to provide more overtaking, and so far it has done, it has to be said. Plexit gets close on the braking, but not close enough to get Mercedes that time by, and has to go behind him for the moment. Tim Palm dropping back now from Blizzard. The gap now 1.7 seconds. Looks like the Eagle Killer is starting to catch him back up. Now the gap between the 2 Red Bulls now 1.5 seconds between the pair of them now then. As we look at Damn Daniel trying to get onto the back of Poe's Force India. Like he had a touch of oversteer going through turn 2, as it looks like the 2 Saubers are going to be entertaining each other for P11. This is not exactly what McGrady wants if he wants a podium finish today. And obviously on a different strategy to Eagle. But obviously, he's obviously not going to be a happy bunny, that's for sure. I wonder if there'll be team orders at Sauber if that be the case, due to the fact that both Eagle and McGrady are on a different strategy to each other. As now we look at Plexit now, who's within a 10th behind Mercedes. Well, he was, but got a poor exit and is now 5/10 behind. But these two are still continuing to battle and are still yet to make that one and only stop. They're obviously going very long on their stint. So very interesting to see how this one plays out for them. Into the final corner we go on the racetrack. And let's see then, can Plexit try and get a move done on Mercedes in front? I think he's a little bit too far back. And in fact, Mercedes is coming in. In fact, the top 4 all in. Ollie D is in. Lambo is in. Pitmat is in. As is Plexit as well. So all 4 of them coming in at this stage. This is crucial. Where's Ollie D going to come out in terms of Blizzard? There's Blizzard. He's going to retake the lead of the race. And Ollie D has actually gone on to a set of mediums, interestingly, as Lambo on another set of soft tyres. So he's on a 2-stop, it seems. In fact, no, it's mediums. In fact, that was a little bit of a graphic error from the Codemasters, it seems. But it does say mediums on the screen, unless it's a graphic error from them. But they are yellow walls I'm looking at from Lambo. They are yellow walls, so it looks like a 2-stop race. Ollie D has come out in 6th place, still behind Poe. So Poe has still been able to get out in front of Ollie D after the pit stops. So that hasn't worked out for him. Plexit has stayed out, of course. He couldn't, because otherwise he would have risked double stacking behind his teammate. But I wouldn't be surprised if he pits at the end of this lap this time by, as he rounds the double left-hander. The Mercedes obviously trying to help his teammate Ollie D out as best as possible. As now into the first corner we go on, into the first corner of the support pit straight. As using all the curb on the outside now then. And as mentioned, I should expect Plexit to possibly come into the pits this time by. As he now comes out of the second to last turn. And and then we'll see what tyres he'll be going on in the pit stops. Into the final turn then goes Plexit. And he'll be coming into the pits this time by flicking the car to the right, which he does. Into the pits then comes the Mercedes of Plexit, and let's see what tyres he'll be going on then after this pit stop. As Mercedes now gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cuts. So bad news for him. And let's see, he's on a set of mediums. I think they're mediums. Yes, they are. They are white wall mediums. So he's on the same strategy as teammate Ollie D. Where's this going to put Plexit out on the track? Through goes Poe, through goes Ollie D, who are fighting it out for now 4th. Where is Plexit? He's outside the points, and he's going to come out in, where is he? He's going to come out in 13th position. No, in fact, it's actually 12th, in fact. But it could be 11th because he's side by side with Mercedes, but Mercedes holds on and holds on to the place for the moment then. So Plexit is in 14th position, but he's on the inside of Ballboy now then in the Williams, and that's P13 for Plexit. So it's P13 then for the Mercedes, although Ballboy is actually going to try and fight back with him on the inside into the S's, but plays it late on the brakes and holds on to the place as the two Saubers continue to scrap it out for 8th place at the moment. As we now look at, in fact, who are we going to look at? We're going to be looking at the battling Red Bulls now, because the Eagle Killer is now 5/10 behind Tim Palm. Tim Palm has dropped 2.1 seconds back off race leader Blizzard now then. So I think all for the exception of Lambo are all on a one-stop. Lambo is on a set of soft tyres, I think. They are yellow walls, so he does look to be on a two-stop, it seems, unless he can try and make those softs go to the end of the race. It will be quite interesting if he can try and pay that one off. As now into the final corner, unless that is a tyre glitch for Codemasters, I'm not 100% sure. But now flicking on the DRS, is Eagle Killer close enough to try and put a pass on teammate Tim Palmer's? Ollie D sets the fastest lap of 1:29.892 as he tries to attack Poe, and he's too far back. Same with Eagle Killer, he was too far back from his own teammate, but can he get a run on Tim Palm then into turn number 4 as he's trying to get alongside, but was just not really alongside him, and he has to hang back for the moment. Ollie D on the inside of Poe, can it be P4 for the Mercedes? Down the inside he goes, and yes it is, up into 4th place goes Ollie D in the Mercedes, and now he will go after the battling Red Bulls in front to try and get himself onto the podium. This has been an amazing fight back from the early championship leader Ollie D after qualifying 15th on the grid. He's already up into 4th, and now he's trying to attack the 2 Red Bulls in front for 2nd place. Blizzard with a 2.2 second lead in front. It's not that much of a gap, but it's a comfortable gap at the moment that he can try and stretch, whilst the 2 Red Bulls fight it out for 2nd, as Eagle Killer again with a DRS, but because the straight's not that long enough, he's not close enough to get Eagle Killer into that left-hander there then, as he will now go around the 3rd to last corner. Into the 2nd to last corner we go, and he's getting right onto the back of his gearbox now, and that's a brilliant exit there from Eagle Killer. Will he actually try and dive it on his own teammate into the final corner? Tim Palm goes defensive, and in fact he's letting him go. Tim Palm not putting a fight to his own teammate. He's actually going to let Eagle Killer through. Must realise that he is the faster of the 2 Red Bulls, and possibly realising as well, possibly to cover the threat from Ollie D behind him, who's starting to gain on them. And now Eagle Killer, who's cleared the faster of the 2 Red Bulls, will now try and go after race leader Blizzard. So a little bit of team play from Red Bull there, and possibly Tim Palm will try and do Eagle solid and try and hold up Ollie D as much as possible. As he starts to close up, he's now putting a gap on Poe. As meantime, look at this 4-car scrap for 7th. We've got Eagle all over the back of Lambo now. There's Matt now. Pitman has a go on the outside of McGrady. Can he get the move done? He'll try and hang around the outside if he can. And will this be a perfect move for Matt? He's still alongside him at the moment. Into the S's. Action gain then for Pitman. Sorry for a little bit of lag there you just saw, as Eagle was unable to find a way through on Lambo at this point. As now into left-hander we will go then on the track, as we now go into the quick right-hander on the track now. Then as you can see, Eagle trying to get hold of Lambo if he can now, then trying to pressurise him for 7th place at this stage. And now up towards the final corner we will go on the track. Can Eagle find a way through on Lambo now? Then he's trying to get up close to the backside of him if he can, and well, not close enough at the moment. We'll try and flip on the DRS as Francis now then gets a stop-go penalty for exceeding track limits, as Bam Daniels back into the pit, so he did have to make a 2nd stop in the end there. Then meantime, can Eagle try and grab 6th from Lambo? He's on the inside. Can he pull the move off? And yes he can. Up into 6th place goes Eagle. Does he? Because Lambo back around the outside, and he just had a lot more confidence than Eagle going into turn 1, and he holds on to 6th place. But can Eagle possibly get him into turn number 4 now? Then down the inside he goes. Side by side go the pair of them now then, as they all go down towards the S's. Can Eagle pull the move off? And not able to do so. Lambo still able to hold on at this stage of the race, as they will now approach the hairpin on the track. So that's 7 for him as far as he's too far. Still in 7th place, still trying to attack Lambo for 6th position. We have 13 laps to go then in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Very exciting race, it must be said. As meantime then, we'll just go for a check-up then of the order now, and it's Blizzard who leads the race by just under 2 seconds from Eagle Killer in 2nd, Tim Palm 3rd, Ollie D in 4th, Poe in 5th, Lambo in 6th, closely followed by Eagle in 7th, Pitmac getting close behind in 8th, Then it is McGrady in 9th, with Francis rounding out the top 10 in 10th in the Williams. Mercedes in 11th, Plagues 12th, Gasly 13th, Button in 14th, Ballboy 15th, with Dam Daniel in 16th position, the 2 retirements in Cherry 2Pi and Killerzone in the Toro Rosso and Ferrari respectively, as Tim Palm still having the DRS but not going to attack or not be attacking his meantime. Poe back down the inside of Ollie D, but Ollie D closing the door there into turn 1 as he holds on to a place, and that's still 4th place for him there then, as we've got side-by-side action between Eagle and Lambo now then, heading down towards the straight, and Eagle has got up into 6th place, but Lambo trying to attack him back. Matt also trying to look to the inside of the Force India. Lambo tried to hang it, got a little bit boxed in. Matt's going to take full advantage, and Pit Matt gets up into 7th place in the Ferrari. So a brilliant move from him there, as now we go up towards the hairpin. Will Matt try and dive it down the inside? Well, he thought about it, but Eagle defended the inside as McGrady now on the inside of Lambo. A little bit of contact between the pair of them, and still a little bit of wheel rubbing between them as they now enter into the left-hander. Lambo just able to hold on. He'll get the DRS down this straight this time by, as they will now go into the first corner of the support pit straight, and nobody really wanting to make a move there, as Tim Palmer's now dropped back to 1.2 seconds behind Deagle Killer, as Deagle Killer now 1.8 seconds behind Blizzard, so he's starting to get the gap on the race leader, as Blizzard has started lap 18 of the race. Now coming off the second to last turn now then, we will go. Poe has now dropped back from Ollie D, is now 1.2 seconds back off the Mercedes, as Ollie D not really closing up to the 2 Red Bulls as much as he would have anticipated. He's still around about 2.5 seconds back from them. Meantime, back to this 4-car scrap, 6th place now then. As you can see, Matt flicks on the DRS. Can he get the move done on the Eagle Killer now then? As you can see, Eagle Killer trying to fight from Eagle, so not Deagle Killer, Eagle, as he defends the inside from Matt, holds on to 6th place. Lambo still doing a good job holding off McGrady at the moment, coming down towards turn 4, where we've seen a lot of overtaking being done in this race now then. No overtaking being done from these 4 guys at the present moment. Button back into the pits for Haas, so it's been a disastrous race for the American team. Button back in and will drop down to 16th place, so a disaster for them really as far as they are concerned. As meantime now then, Ollie D still struggling to close in onto Tim Palm in front, as he tries to grab all the 3rd place from him at this stage. Eagle now then still trying to hold off at the moment, as there's contact between Lambo and McGrady. Francis takes full advantage, and McGrady has called it a day. Clearly a rage quit from him after that contact. Francis takes advantage, gets up to 8th, and I wouldn't be surprised if there may be a steward's inquiry between Lambo and McGrady there. And McGrady clearly frustrated with that one, and I wouldn't be surprised as well. A good haul of points could have been his, but it's now gone down the toilet. So now we've got the big battle has now reduced in size, as now it's just Matt on Eagle now. Then that's the fight in this group as they continue to scrap it out for 6th place. Francis having to fend off from Lambo, who's trying to retake 8th from him if he can. Heading down the pitch straight, will Matt try and get the move done on Eagle then into turn 1. He gets the DRS on Eagle now, then heading into the first corner. He's going to look to the inside. Francis tries to go defensive. There's another gap on the inside. Has Matt got the move done? And yes, he has. Up into 6th place goes Pit Matt. Francis tries to hang it around the outside into turn 2. Isn't able to make it work. Matt able to hold on for the moment. Button gets a 3-second time penalty, so another one to add to his list. Matt has to go defensive to hold on to the place. Eagle trying to go a little bit out, braking into turn 4. Isn't able to pull it off, and Matt has got P6. And next target, it's a bit of a task, but 6.7 seconds down the road is Poe in the Force India, and we'll wait and see if that is going to be the case now then. As we look at Lambo now then, as he's starting to pull back a little bit from Francis, as he now goes into double left-hander on the racetrack now then, as he will continue to scrap it out at the stage. As now look how close Francis is now into the back of Eagle, as he will now go around. Sorry about that. As you can just see there's a big crash now between Francis and Eagle. Looks like there was a little bit of wheel banging between the pair of them. Looks like Francis may have given Eagle a little bit of a shove, and both of them have taken themselves out of the race. So game over for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if there may be a stewards inquiry from that, but that will lift Button up a place. So we're now down to 13 runners. McGrady doesn't count, of course, with the rage quit, I suppose. As now into turn number 3, as we now look at the rest of the pack at the moment, as Matt is now losing more time to post, so probably 6th is the maximum to try and go after. Seems that now the rest of the pack, ever since that crash between Francis and Eagle, has now settled down a bit. Ollie D, though, from the last time we checked now, has actually started to gain onto Tim Palm. The gap now down to 1.3 seconds as the Eagle Killer is now just 1.1 behind Blizzard in the McLaren. Now into the long right-hander we go, into the second to last turn. We will go on the track, and now we will go into the final corner pretty soon now they're on the track. And now then into the final corner. And now heading down the long straight we go, as he's a little bit too far back, and not have DRS of course, so Blizzard rear side relief for the moment, as everybody now possibly settling down into a little bit of a rhythm. We're on lap 22 now then of 29 here at lap 22 of 29 here at Bahrain International Circuit, and here is what the leaderboard looks like then with 13 runners left. Blizzard leads, the Eagle Killer close behind in second, now 8 attempts behind him. Tim Palm third, Ollie D in fourth, with Poe fifth, Pitmat in sixth, Lambo seventh, then it is Mercedes 8th, Plexit 9th, Gasly 10th, then it is Ballboy 11th, Dan Daniel in 12th, Button 13th position. As now look how close the Eagle Killer is now to the back of Blizzard. We now have yet again a battle for the lead between these two, just like it was at the beginning of the race before the pit stop stages got underway. Round the left-hander we go, heading down the straight, and will the Eagle Killer pull off the move on Blizzard now then as they will go and approach the first corner of the support pit straight. Button with another time penalty, so that's the third one he's got for corner cut, and he's probably just getting a little bit frustrated at the moment of what could have been for him during this race. And now into the second to last turn we will go on the track. Now he will soon go up towards the final corner. The Eagle Killer, I wouldn't be surprised if he'll get a run on Blizzard. And in towards turn 1 we have a monumental scrap for the lead. On the final lap is out goes Button. Has Button done for the day? And it looks like he's just disconnected. In fact, we can't find him on the track. In fact, unless he's crashed somewhere, I am not sure. But anyway, the Eagle Killer now then now has the DRS on Blizzard. Will he try and go for the lead on the McLaren? Blizzard goes defensive into the first corner and holds on to the place for the moment. Is the Eagle Killer unable to find a way through that time by Blizzard, doing a good job fending him off at the moment. Ollie D now 6 attempts behind Tim Palm, as now up towards turn 4. Will the Eagle Killer try and get the move done on Blizzard? He's trying to hang it around the outside into the 4th turn now then, but Blizzard holds on to the place at this stage. Ollie D not close enough to pull a move on Tim Palm for the final podium place. Mercedes now with a 3-second time penalty in the Toro Rosso, so he will drop back a few places, and so he'll have to serve that time penalty at the end of the race. As a result of Button's retirement, we're now down to 12 runners into the left-hander, both of them locking up on the brakes there into the double left-hander. They're now coming up towards the AI of McGrady, which retired earlier because of the contact with Francis. As now, I think it was Francis or somebody else, I'm not quite sure, I think it was Lambo actually. He's now hanging it around the outside now then. Goes the Eagle Killer in the Red Bull. Can he pull the move off? Side by side they go, and what a move for the Red Bull. The Eagle Killer leads the race, and well, already possibly a candidate for overtake of the season, as the Eagle Killer now leads the race in the Red Bull. As Blizzard now then heading into the final corner, he will try and get the move done if he can on the Red Bull, as he will go down the pit straight now then, heading into the first corner now then. And as you can see, can Blizzard try and pull the move off on the Eagle Killer now then, as they'll go side by side into the first 2 turns, and he's already got the move done. He didn't even need to wait for the first corner, so Blizzard back in the lead of the race